Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we are taking a look at the Left 4 Dead 2 Special Infected. Now I'm a huge fan of Left 4 Dead 2. I've put a lot of hours into it over the years, and if you've never played it, I recommend picking it up. You can usually get it for like $3 or $4 during a Steam sale, and it's a great game to play with like 3 friends. You know, if you got 4 people, that's the perfect amount. Whether you're playing campaign or versus mode, it's just going to be a good time. It's a pretty good casual, fun game to play. And one of my favorite things to do in Left 4 Dead 2 is to play the versus mode, where it's 4 players playing the humans and then other 4 players playing the zombies, and you see who can escape or make it further into the level than the other team, and you earn points based on that. And in that mode, you get to play as the Special Infected, which in my opinion is one of the most fun things to do in Left 4 Dead 2. So I'm going to be ranking these based on how much I enjoy playing them, not necessarily how strong I think they are, or how valuable they are, just how much I like to play them, how much I like to have the abilities of that Special Infected. So starting us off, we have the Spitter, which I think for a lot of people this one is probably one of their least favorites. The Spitter basically, of course, as all zombies, you have your regular melee attack, which really doesn't do a whole lot. You don't have a whole lot of health as a Spitter. Your main thing is really just, well, as the name suggests, spits. You spit a bunch of acid, and it basically makes a pool of acid on the floor that damages the humans if they walk over it or stand on it. Honestly, it's not super useful. There are some choke points where you can spit in a place where the humans have to go through, and you can delay them. But I really think the only time Spitter is really valuable is if a human is actually down on the ground, and then you spit on them, because you can pretty much just kill them, because other humans can't revive them because there's acid everywhere, and you pretty much just end up killing the down person. So against down people, I think Spitter is pretty good, but overall, not a lot of health, not really a whole lot going on. Probably my least favorite Special Infected to play, but still has its uses, so not going to be in the F tier. Spitter will be in the D tier though. Up next, we have the Boomer, probably the grossest looking Special Infected in my opinion. Basically, this guy, like all zombies, he has his regular melee punch, which actually does decent amount of damage, but you're never really going to be going for that as the Boomer. The main thing is your vomit. You can walk up to humans and left click and basically throw up all over them. And when you do that, they get marked, and basically all of the common infected zombies will come rushing towards them, and there's just like hordes of them. So if they're already facing like a lot of Special Infected or a lot of threats already, puking on them can really do them in. And then of course, the Boomer, when you die, you actually blow up, and you can also mark them. So similar to, throwing up on humans. If you blow up next to them, all the zombies around will come and rush them. So Boomer, you really want to kind of be a little bit sneaky and usually hide around a corner where the humans have to come. You don't really want to run at them from a distance, because you get one shot by pretty much any gun in the game. But if you do get in close, it is super satisfying, and well, he's kind of a, one and done kind of Special Infected. When you do get that, multiple human explosion where, you walk up to him, you sneak up to him, and you hit 3 or 4 with your vomit or your explosion, it's just so satisfying seeing all the damage rank in from the common infected damaging the humans. So I actually quite like playing Boomer. I think he's pretty fun. Not my favorite, but good enough to find himself in the B tier. Up next, we have Hunter. Now this is the guy who I think is actually pretty fun. He's one of the fastest killing Special Infected, because basically he's kind of small, doesn't have a whole lot of health, but he can basically jump really far. If you crouch, you can jump pretty much 30-40 feet, I would say. And if you jump on top of a human, you basically pin them to the ground and start ripping apart their face, and they can't do anything about it. Basically they need another human to either shoot you off or melee you off. It is really good, but you don't have a lot of health, and so if the humans are sticking together, Hunter is pretty hard to make use of, because it's pretty easy for them to just, knock you away if you jump on them. That being said, if there is a straggler, somebody's fallen far behind or somebody's too far ahead, and you jump on them, you can kill them in 5 seconds. So definitely really good for catching out those stragglers who are getting too far ahead or too far behind. And when you do, 100-0 somebody with Hunter, it is really satisfying. So Hunter gonna find himself in the B tier as well. Up next, we have the Smoker. Honestly, super fun. This guy basically, he throws out his tongue and he wraps it around a human and basically slowly drags them in. and then clobbers them. It's a pretty slow death, but it is pretty long range, and there's a lot of really good places on different maps where you can play the smoker as. It's really fun just finding, where's the best, is there a rooftop around that I can hide on. And I will say one of the most satisfying things to do as smoker, you can only do this on some maps, but some maps where basically there's like a cliff or a building that you can fall off and die from. If you as a smoker kind of stand on the opposite side of that and you drag a human through, like, basically where they would die if they fell through, you can pretty much insta-kill them if you drag them into that pit or that hole or off that edge. And so that's really satisfying to do as smoker. Definitely a lot of fun, and smoker is going to find himself in the A tier for me. Up next, we have Charger, and, similar to Spitter, like the name suggests, he charges. And basically, that's the main thing. He does have a decent melee, just a punch. It does a pretty good amount of damage, so if you do use your charge and you miss, you can always run in there and just punch him, deal some good damage. But Charger, honestly, super fun. His main ability is, he charges, he runs at them, basically grabs onto the first human that he hits, and he'll continue running until he hits a wall. And anybody else that he hits, he'll pretty much just like knock aside. And then once he, hits a wall or runs to as far as he can run, he basically just slams the humans into the ground until they die. Honestly, I would say he's probably my favorite special infected to play. Super fun, and there's a lot of maps where there's like a long hallway, and if all 4 humans are, in that long hallway and you charge through, it's so satisfying just to knock all 4 of them off. And similar to Smoker, if there is like a ledge on the map, you can charge somebody off the edge, and sure, you're gonna die, but you're gonna take them with you, and that's always one of the most satisfying things to do, especially in I think it's Dead Center, where you're in that high rise and there's a ton of windows that go off the edge. It's really satisfying to just hide in one of the rooms, wait for a human to come in, and just charge them out the window. Definitely super satisfying. Charger, gotta be my favorite special infected to play, and he's gonna find himself in the S tier. Up next, we have Jockey. Now this guy, he's kind of creepy. The noises he makes is kind of unsettling, honestly. But Jockey is another one that I think is really, really fun to play. Basically, he jumps onto the head of a human, and you basically get to control them. It's not like perfect controls because the humans are of course struggling, but you have pretty decent control on where they're going. And this is another one where if you are like on top of a building or next to a cliff or next to a lake maybe, you can jump on their head and walk them off the edge, and they're just dead. There's some maps I've found where they will still hang on to the edge and they can be helped back up, but there's a lot of places where if you walk them off the edge, that's it, they're done. And that's super satisfying with Jockey. Jockey is another one where if somebody is falling behind specifically, and you catch them out, it's really nice because you can pretty much just walk them, further back into the level. And so if his teammates want to help him, then they have to go back. That's slowing down their time, slowing down their progression, giving your other special infected teammates more time to get into position. So Jockey is super fun. Honestly, I like playing him a lot. Not quite as much as Charger, but Jockey is going to be another S tier for me. Up next, we have Tank. Now this is one that's only available on certain levels, and on certain difficulties, I believe there's more places where tanks can spawn. Basically, when that happens and you're playing versus mode, there's a chance that, you get to play as the tank, which is really fun. It's really fun playing as the tank, don't get me wrong. But honestly, it's not as fun as, other zombies for me. I would personally rather be a Charger or a Jockey than a tank. I know that might be controversial. I know a lot of people really love playing tanks. It feels really fun to, like, swing your punch and just send people flying or throw the rocks. But that being said, still fun. I'm not saying I don't like tank, just not quite my favorite. But still gonna find himself in the A tier for me. Super fun just having all that health, and similar to like Charger or Jockey, you have the chance with tank to one-shot somebody by hitting them off the edge, and that's always really fun. So tank gonna find himself solidly in the A tier. Last but not least is Witch. Now this is one that you can't play as normally, but if you play on a community server and it has the Witch mod, you can play as the Witch, and if you haven't given that a try before, I recommend it. There's a lot of really good community servers with Left 4 Dead 2 mods. Some of them I found go a little bit over the top, kind of makes the game too wacky, but there's some decent ones that just add some good quality of life updates, and one of them is the ability to play as the Witch. And basically, if I remember right, how that mod works is if the humans disturb a Witch, one of the random infected players will get to control the Witch. And that's super fun. You don't have a ton of health, but you're really quick, and basically one hit and you down the humans. So it's really fun. You can't really hide or anything because you're constantly screeching, but you know, basically running at them and one-shotting them is always pretty fun. So, which another fun one to play. Gonna find herself in the A tier for me. Well, that's my list. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed.